that 15–20% mark, he's going to struggle.
And gentlemen, join yourself. We'll see you on the other side.
You're welcome to stay. He's just got to get. He's just got to get. But we are jumping already to this first map. It looks like we got a confrontation there by the Rockets. We have Vengeurr over on this Ranger. Strog on Raisy's side. Big Pika coming out Flea as Vengeurr was picking up that lightning gun. Still doesn't have a rocket. And now they're going to have a battle as Vengeurr's been trapped out of this room. Raisy's in there looking healthier. And they do now reset.
Raisy and a Big Pika name a more iconic duo as the fight breaks out right over this heavy armor. Vengeurr rather makes a jump, uses the orb perhaps a little prematurely. Raisy retaliates. Oh, chunky rocket as well. Heavy is still up, Dan.
He doesn't. Does he know? I think he thought he picked it up before he made that move, but it's been sitting up for a long, long time. Pretty sure Raisy doesn't know. Very awkward situation as he's unfortunately trapped himself out of the entire map and lost total control. So great first frag, just didn't get the information he needed.
And that will allow Vengeurr to pick up the heavy armor off spawn. Now Raisy, no doubt would have realized what happened by now. Mega spawned. He's looking for a way onto it.
Oh, lovely distraction.
Beautiful! That was so good. Orb to the one side, rocket to the other, dropping down straight through the middle. Raisy, no opportunity to make it onto the item without taking damage, and Vengeurr capitalizes off of that. But there it is, the Pika rush out of absolutely nowhere. And Raisy, 1 point in the lead.
Absolutely nowhere indeed. Vengeurr completely caught oblivious there. He's on the wrong side of the map, so won't pick up that heavy. He's in the position very early for this Mega. He knows that Vengeurr doesn't have a rocket. That's why he's quite happy to take this fight. But still, Vengeurr's doing huge damage from above. Raisy comes out on top, doesn't have the Pika to finish off his opponent. So good awareness on the situation from Raisy to take that fight. Don't know if he has a complete timing of this item because, again, he's very, very early and doesn't have the right resources to be sticking around. So he's just going to play around this light. Might make a move with the Pika just to scout him out, get that information on the timing that he is lacking, and there it is, sees the pickup, so now knows what he needs to be doing for the next round.
Raisy, very evasive right now, realizes he's lacking the weaponry as well as the stack to make a challenge for this Mega. Doesn't have rockets, doesn't have heavy machine gun. Yes, he's got the LG, but there's a whole lot of situations in which he is now on the back foot. So he's just very slowly trying to scope out an opportunity, listening out for his teammate, opponent in this matchup, of course. And is trying to make his way onto the rockets. There we go. We'll be able to secure him. Small armor, heavy machine gun. Now Raisy is ready to make a move.
There's been a lot of respect from Raisy in this opening few minutes as he had the advantage a few times. He's just been unable to press it or unable to feel comfortable to capitalize upon that. And it's allowed Vengeurr to get back into this game with all the control in the world. But Raisy's sitting pretty up top. He's waiting for his opportunity to do some chip damage. Here it comes. Pika comes out, but he's actually exposed and he takes too much damage. Vengeurr gets an easy frag and burns the orb as well.
Just in time before the heavy spawn too. And this is a nice spread between the items already.
Yeah.
Over 10 seconds between the two. But Vengeurr actually takes a lot of splash damage for those rockets.
Not sure.
Can he drop on it? Raisy doesn't have LG yet.
Or
so
timing, I think, because he's
no.
been sticking down there for over 10 seconds. Once again, he's in the area, but it's just at the wrong time.
Yeah.
It gives up not an easy frag, but a careless frag. Raisy definitely needs to brush up on the basics.
It's just that one rocket right there, that 71 damage rocket in a very bad spot. At that point, Raisy, what can he do? If he tries to run, he's done, because he's lost too much stack. If he tries to make a move for Mega, he's also done, because Vengeurr will beat him to it. So the only thing he could really hope to do was commit as much pain and suffering as he possibly could before going down.
Once again, this time Vengeurr's in the vicinity really early. Some unusual errors from both Maestro boys at the start of this one. As you rightly put it, you can stay down there, but as soon as one rocket hits, the longer that you're down there, the more chances that will happen, and it's all over for you.
Heavy is up behind Raisy, but he knows that his opponent is caught in a bad spot. But good use of the head glitch right there by Vengeurr, barely showing his face, in a much more favorable position to deal damage from a distance. And Raisy just didn't want to stick around and risk it, wants to continue rotating the items in his favor.
Yeah, great lockdown now. Vengeurr's the one that's been shut out, trying to play that plus back game with the heavy machine gun. The chip damage in these high level games is where the winner will be found. It's all about that efficiency. Very rare we have a huge one-on-one fight. There are traps, but Getting that chip damage is critical, and Vengeurr's done a great job from distance with the rockets. Pika comes out again. But they both taken a huge amount of damage. Vengeurr's the one in position for this next Mega, though. Raisy worked himself out of position for that, but has a light to fall back on. And now he's a little bit stuck. Can crouch slide away from below. Vengeurr's tracking him around the map, has the orb as well, so Raisy definitely needs to be careful of any potential close range engagement. That's why he's getting back up to this high ground, wants to rain down pain from above. Vengeurr actually tracks him, goes up top with the orb. Big rocket from Raisy, but it's not enough.
Clever use of the orb right there. Raisy absolutely was not ready for that burst of aggression. Good plays from Vengeurr now as well. He knows that Mega is up right behind him. He can afford to prolong that initial fight because he has the resources to fall back on.
Yeah, we've noticed that as soon as that orb is off cooldown, Vengeurr is being incredibly aggressive and proactive. He wants to capitalize upon that cooldown as much as he can. Use that burst damage. Obviously, it's slightly high risk, but we know how good Vengeurr's Ranger is. And there's been huge effectiveness from that orb in terms of both distraction and pure damage. Raisy, though, is stabilizing, playing that flashback game. It is a low-scoring game at 3-2. Both these players reluctant to full-on commit and quite happy just to let these items go if they're not in the right position. Raisy hears that, but the orb once again going down, switching to the shotgun, trying to convert, but it's not the right decision as Raisy gets out and does a huge amount of damage in the process. Vengeurr, though, is the one in position for this heavy, can make his way back around and just picks up those vials once again to make sure the cooldown is as lower position as possible. Strides on in, actually. Raisy missing the rockets, and Vengeurr is keeping that pressure high. He knows the light armor's the next thing. That's now eliminated as well. 60 damage with that heavy machine gun, and Raisy is on the ropes. The question is, how much defensive damage can he do, Flea?
Yeah, so far his defensive damage ladder has been great. That's what's keeping
Orb
such
again.
a close game. There we go, finally the orb connects. The previous orb ended up a little too far from Raisy, and it was actually Vengeurr who ended up getting the short end of the stick right there, but this was beautiful, and now LG on LG.
And these were the fights I was talking about in the pregame when Raisy is trying to make these pushes. Vengeurr is punishing it. Lovely Pika, but what? From behind!
Okay. I was watching that and I was like, Raisy is done for, right? That was like a full second of uninterrupted damage on the Strog in stasis, but then somehow the Pika loops around and hits him in the back. God damn.
Kept him in it, that's for sure. He's still pretty weak though. Look at the stack of Vengeurr, and he's just chasing him down. Once again, he's got the orb off cooldown. He did actually use it in that engagement to try and close the gap. He knows how low Raisy is. He's got the super shotgun, trying to make something happen. Raisy slithers away for now, but there's just no resources on the map. Even if he wants this light, Vengeurr's going to be trying to patrol that area. Lovely Pika once again, keeping Vengeurr just in check, so we cannot have that full committal. And we're at that stage of the game where the next frag is going to be defining, and the next frag goes towards Vengeurr.
Raisy now back against the wall. Time is running out, and Vengeurr again avoiding so much of that damage, getting yet another frag. I think one of the big points to note here, Dan, is that the LG damage coming out from Raisy just hasn't been sufficient.
Oh, GG's already.
His rockets have been great, but his LG damage just hasn't been able to cut it.
No, not at all. And the really defining thing for me was that Raisy just wasn't able to get onto the map. Vengeurr kept the tempo high, he kept the pressure on. I think luckily we're on a map for Vengeurr that doesn't have a rail. We'll have to concern himself with that for now. But he just kept the tempo high. He wanted to use that orb incredibly proactively to keep the pressure on Raisy. And it worked. And again, every time Raisy tried to push, the rockets and the damage from Vengeurr was too much for him to cope. And those pushes that would work against most other opponents were being punished against Vengeurr.
Yep, really clever strategic play from Vengeurr. He is looking good going into this, but then what was the big unknown with Vengeurr's play? The railgun.
Yep.
Which weapon did we not see in action on Corrupted Keep? The railgun.
Yep.
Next map, Ruins, right? That might be a very different story, and that weapons enters the fray.
Yep, he does have the Nyx though, and again, this is a very similar situation as we talked about with Chain. He can slow the tempo down, he can play in that T-junction, and it becomes slightly less relevant. Obviously still very important, particularly with Raisy with that piercing sight, but he can play around the movement deficit of the visor, just being very conscious of as and when it's being used, but still he can slow the tempo down and make it less important than it otherwise would be. So that's definitely going to be the game plan, and trying to steer himself away from it, but at the same time, as we saw in this game, he's got a good read on Raisy. He was the one setting the tempo. He was the one setting the traps. And you could feel the confidence in this particular game from Vengeurr.
Yeah, you sure could. Those orbs in particular, right? Those were very, very decisive at numerous key moments throughout this map. The Peeker, on the other hand, Raisy, he did manage to do some damage here and there, even got himself a frag with it. Yeah. But overall, I think it's very clear that the ability usage most definitely was better on Vengeurr's end.
Yeah, and it's not just that, as it felt in the game. Hadn't seen the stats until now. 3 heavies and 4 megas for Raisy. Very uncharacteristic for him, as someone that loves to cycle the map and keep that as his kind of core repertoire. The pressure from Vengeurr and the tempo from Vengeurr really prevented that. Raisy did decent damage, actually did 500 more than Vengeurr, but without the control, Vengeurr was able to use that stack and punish Raisy, and this felt more like old school Vengeurr. The Vengeurr from last Quakecon, when he was able to keep that up and keep the pressure on and use his stack in the right occasions. When we saw him earlier today against Maxter and against Chain, they were quite passive games, uncharacteristic, didn't lend itself to his strengths, and so this is definitely more his comfort zone.
Now also worth pointing out when we're talking about those item pickups, Dan, yes, Raisy only got 7 in total, very key, but we have to paint the full picture. Vengeurr got 24 major, so that's 24 versus 7, and that just shows how much more dominant he was on that item rotation. And I think you could very clearly see this during the map as well, right? Vengeurr was so early to establish a full rotation. Very often on Corrupted Keep, it's just back and forth, right? One player gets one, the other gets the other. So much damage being exchanged, no one able to get full control. Here, I looked at the clock, it was 2 minutes in, and Vengeurr already had a perfect rotation going. So he just started that early, managed to drive it on through until the end.
Exactly, and you can see just from the damage difference between the two, 200 damage with the rocket. What that indicates to me is he wasn't really on the defense. He was the running in, setting the tempo, rushing in with the lightning gun, finishing up with the orb/shotgun. That was the play style. And a lot of the frags that Raisy got were off the back of these hard committals. He was left reeling, unable to get some momentum into his game. So we move on to Ruins. What do you want to see more from a Raisy perspective then?
What do we want to see more from a Raisy perspective? Well, number one, use that railgun. Abuse it, right? Raisy has been watching all of these games as well. He knows that Vengeurr has been struggling in that regards. Plus, he's using the visor. He can line up that piercing sight, make sure that his shots land on their target. So Raisy most definitely has to make good use of that weapon. Secondly, I think he has to show presence on almost every single one of the item pickups, right? That's something that I feel like he did a little too little of on the first map. Very often he just wasn't even there. You would see him on the other side of the map, near Tribal, near that bounce pad, just kind of hovering around, giving up full control to his opponent, and he has to clean that up.
Yeah. The only thing I'll add there is, like, as I completely agree, is just make sure he's the one that dictates the positioning. If you let that Nyx, as we've seen time and time again, when Kilson plays this, just even in the last series against Maxter, if he gets this position here, as we're seeing now, if he can control that, he can keep the Nyx very much on the back foot. If the Nyx gets that, your life becomes a misery as a visor. You haven't got the mobility to play around that, and you were just restrained and restricted within the map.
This time around, starting off on the perspective of Raisy. Immediately taking a rail.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, he's gonna use the Ghost Walk, the piercing sight right off the bat, even without the rail, and that is just to make sure that he can secure these two weapons, Railgun and LG, freely, right? He just wanted to make sure that Vengeurr wasn't anywhere near it, because that is a bad spot to get caught out in if you don't have the weapons to defend yourself. So that was just to get the information, not to do damage, not to go for an item, just to complete his unholy trinity.
He knows Vengeurr's up top. He's trying to bait him towards one of the major items that he could take the other. Little bit of game of chess here. Vengeurr, though, still in that T-junction, playing it out. He hears his opponent and hits a lovely rail after the pickup as well, so nullifying a lot of that damage. The interesting characteristic I'm going to be looking out for as well is how does Vengeurr play his champion? Is he going to use the Ghost Walk offensively? Because this is where part of the game plan needs to be focused is just managing the cooldowns, getting use of those time bars. And we know Vengeurr can have a huge level of output if they get that control going.
Raisy might have to give up the Mega here. No, both players are making a move for heavy. Yeah, Raisy knows that he cannot contest any longer after missing his own shot and eating a rail.
Oh, it nearly worked as well, but he's gone with the Ghost Walk, having known where his opponent is and has to double back. Wow, that was nearly a perfect play from Vengeurr. Raisy just taking the long route round is the only thing that saved his bacon. He gets the Mega for his troubles as well, and we have to reset here as Vengeurr's a little bit at odds without his Ghost Walk and doesn't want to expose himself to Raisy, not knowing when that piercing sight is up.
He saw when it was last used, so he should be aware that it's up around this time. Now heavy will be taken by Raisy. Vengeurr racing over to the Mega side of the map. He's gonna hear that bounce pad, know exactly where his opponent is at. So far, no full committals from either one of these players. I like what Vengeurr's doing. Very sneaky, very calculated. He still suspects that Raisy is somewhere over near that bounce pad, and he's entirely right.
Yeah, this is the usual stalemate we'll see between these two. Is you do roughly know where your opponent is, but what can you do about it? So it's about playing that game of cat and mouse, seeing who makes the first move. And as Maxter said in his interview, capitalizing upon those mistakes. So it's important you don't make one. Vengeurr now doubles back, actually now putting a huge split between the major items, as we saw through his vision as well. Raisy will have heard that, and he knows that Vengeurr's doubled back into this heavy area. Will he make a move upon it? He has the piercing sight in 4 seconds, so it will be just around the time the item spawns, so maybe just going to look for an exit rail. That's exactly what he's doing, and he does hit it. So perfect value coming out. But he also knows that he can't go through that TP because it's too predictable. So once again, takes the long route round. Wants to hit just a bit of exit damage. Vengeurr toying with him through the doorway.
Vengeurr saw that the piercing sight was used for Raisy to land that shot, though. So he's well aware that that ability isn't up yet. And he is using that information to freely maneuver himself onto the heavy. Still, sizable delay between the items, 10 seconds before Mega spawns. Vengeurr has got a solid fighting stack, just barely skipping by Raisy. Raisy doesn't want to let this one go for free. Oh, that's a decent rocket. Oh, look at that!
Okay.
Vengeurr showing us some defrag right here. Rocket jumping, wall bouncing, right back on up.
Yeah, well, he had the timing, so he felt confident to do it. Maybe it would have been a different story if Raisy was progressing into the room and did something crazy, but that is not to be. We continue to rotate, continue with this game of cat and mouse, but saying that, they are finding each other in the mid-ground here. Raisy's actually just patrolling for a fight. Alpha mode, he wants this, but he's in the wrong position. Vengeurr spamming it out. Raisy just tickling him with that lightning gun. Vengeurr, though, does have the Ghost Walk at his disposal, has to pop it, but he chases his opponent down.
Ooh.
Now, Flea, why do you feel Raisy was forcing that? It didn't seem that he was in a massively advantageous position.
He really wasn't, no. And he took enough damage that one rail killed him right after. I think he just felt like, hey, he's stuck in a really bad position down there in that walkway with the pillars. Not someplace you want to get caught, but nevertheless, Vengeurr had a good stack, good defensive LG. Raisy ultimately did not do as much damage as he needed to. And then, at that point, the Ghost Walk is both a defensive as well as an aggressive tool, right? Because Vengeurr can pop it, and he can observe exactly what Raisy does. Raisy ran exactly where Vengeurr wanted him to go, and he finished it off.
At the moment, doesn't really feel that Raisy has an answer to the way Vengeurr's playing. It's clutching at straws. Once again, we see one of these awkward encounters down by the stairs. This time, they do connect with good rails. Vengeurr is railable, but has the Ghost Walk. Playing with fire at the moment. Raisy also very, very low, but not in position to truly contest for this Mega. And similarly to last map, Raisy's struggling with the major items. You made a point that you want to make sure or see that he has a presence there. It just doesn't feel that he's making it a priority. He's trying to play around the items, which gives him an awful lot of work to do. And he can't even get that done within the piercing sight. He's often hitting one, maybe even a second, but nowhere near killing or getting in close with his opponent. So struggling at the moment to really see what the game plan is with 4 minutes to go.
I must commend the patience and the discipline that Vengeurr has with that Ghost Walk, though. You alluded to it earlier, Dan, but he is really holding on to it until the moment that he can actually make the most use out of it. Doesn't use it to really reposition, hasn't felt confident enough to use it aggressively, so he has been holding on to it even when taking a significant amount of damage because he is so aware of his positioning, of the item cycles, of what Raisy is comfortable doing.
But on the flip side, just to highlight the lack of pressure, if you will, coming out from Raisy's side, Vengeurr has taken 0 light armors. He hasn't needed to. He has purely played around the heavy and the mega, and often it's just been allowed from Raisy's perspective. He has stolen away that heavy now, so maybe this is a change of strategy.
And I think a lot of it, like you said, comes down to Raisy being unable to make something big happen with one of those piercing sights, right? The fact that Vengeurr has used his ability so rarely means that those hourglasses have been up entirely.
But he's gone aggressively now, and he's actually stolen it away. He's got the timing, he gets it, but what's going on with this fight? Somehow Raisy's being bounced around, looks surely to die.
Vengeurr, his aim flicked all the way around to the right because he was expecting that bounce to send his opponent over to the other side, but no, Raisy kind of clipped the ceiling, dropped back down on the left side of him, and that allowed him to at least get it into a tie. Otherwise, Raisy would have been done for.
100%. So Raisy must count his lucky stars there, as I really did like that move. The first aggressive Ghost Walk of the game does pay somewhat dividends, at least resets us at a 2-to-1 game. But Raisy now without the utility to get up top to close in on his opponent. And that's been the trouble. It's just been the mobility of the mix limiting the aggression that Raisy can put in, and he's just not felt comfortable to challenge Vengeurr so far. Another piercing sight comes out, but look at the positioning of Vengeurr. If he doesn't know exactly where his opponent is, super careful just in case one of those angles have been there. So maybe, you know, the warm-up of Chain and Maxter has disciplined him to not go around the corner without knowing what your opponent's doing. And it really is working out for Vengeurr in this map too.
A minute, 45 seconds left on the clock. Pressure now all on Raisy, as it has been for most of this map, really. But now, time is really against him as well. He has to make a move sooner rather than later. And here we go, then. Another piercing sight used. Nothing.
Absolutely
he gained
nothing.
absolutely nothing out of that one. And that means that, hey, we're another 30 seconds out before he's got it again. And with a minute, a little over a minute left, this is looking dire.
Well, exactly. Vengeurr is not under any pressure whatsoever to venture out on the map. So every time one of these piercing sights are used, Vengeurr's often in a position where he's not railable. And he's just not moving until there is an objective in one of the items. And look at him now. He's standing in a position where his opponent cannot hit him. Irrespective if he can see through walls, you can't shoot through walls. And that's the only utility Vengeurr is playing with at the moment, which is self-preservation. His job now is to survive another 50 seconds and take this map home. And the question is, how is Raisy going to change that? How is he going to close that gap? This Mega is there. He hasn't challenged it all game. And even if he challenges now, Vengeur's going to let him have it.
Another fruitless piercing sight. Raisy.
He knows he's above, he can hear him, and he's just going to retreat up that stairwell. He still has this Ghost Walk Flea, so
yeah,
realistically, there's 15 seconds left for anything to happen from Raisy's side, and he can't even find his opponent.
Raisy's got one more piercing sight to work with. He's probably going to pop it the moment that he has it available.
And it's over,
Yeah,
there's no way. He can
Yeah.
find him now. He's completely the other side of the map, and
Up the bounce pad he goes.
it's a fairly...
That's a brilliant
What?
shot.
Why is the...
Wait, but it's over. He spawns, he delays the spawn, uses
No,
Ghost
it's
Walk.
2-2.
Oh shit, yeah, you're right.
What the frig is going
I
on?
actually thought it was over.
Why are you not? Oh my god, we have a
no
game.
idea.
There's the Ghost Walk. Ole, right through the rail. The thing you should have done 30 seconds ago, and now he's in trouble.
Vengeurr.
He's been
Oh,
caught.
no. The LG
There's
comes out.
no way he gets out of here. He's jumping around. The LG's there. The nail gun's there. But what the hell just happened?
Insane by Raisy, but also, damn.
No,
a
insane by
catastrophic
Vengeurr.
Disaster.
Click your bind.
I don't know what happened there, but the moment that rail connected.
Just hit the Ghost Walk, man. I'm actually mad. I'm genuinely mad.
I will physically restrain Dan so he doesn't charge onto the stage for to take down Vengeurr. Are you all right?
I don't understand what's going on. Like, there is absolutely no reason in my mind why you don't hit the bind at that moment. You are railable. There's only 10 seconds left.
Yeah.
Why the hell, I'm struggling not to swear, why the hell don't you just use your Ghost Walk? I can't answer that.
If we get him on the stage,
If he
for an
loses, I'm
interview-
grabbing him. I don't care. I'm getting that answer. This is ridiculous. This
mean,
was a crazy fight as well.
Oh,
I
it
have no
was.
idea how Raisy pulled that into a trade. That was actually game defining because that was a
Here
great
we
move.
go.
But I mean, what? I mean, at that moment you deserve to lose, and he lost. So no disrespect, but you deserve to lose. But yeah, the game-defining fight was how Raisy pulled that into a trade down by the heavy. First aggressive move all game. It was the right decision by Vengeurr, but it was a Raisy thing when he hit that much damage in a position he had absolutely no right to. So I don't even know what to say about that game. It was a bizarre game. Raisy barely had the opportunity to even hit his opponent. Look at those damage scores. I mean, he did like, what, 1,300 damage all game long? I mean, it was an absolute game of chess from start to finish. And unfortunately for Vengeurr, he bluffed himself at the very end.
What I do like is that 60% railgun accuracy on Vengeurr's.
I mean, yeah, he shot, what, 8?
But hey, come on.
All right.
All right.
Silver linings, I give it to you.
All right, yeah. Landing 8 is better than landing, what, 2 out of
1 out of 8,
right?
yeah.
So, come on.
Yeah. Fine. I will give you that. He hit some good shots,
thank you.
even if it was a very sparse game in terms of combat. But we're at a 1-to-1. I don't know, maybe Maestro trying to spice things up. We're at a 1-to-1. Deep Embrace. We see the Galena, which we saw earlier, which is a difficult pick, I will have to say, on Deep Embrace. It's, you know, you pick that to play combat heavy Quake up against a Doom, another champion that you want to fight with, but you have better control of that mid ground. Obviously, he went up against Keel before on the Galena, so it's going to be a very different strategy going up against the Doom of Raisy. What do you see in this one, Flea?
I mean, something else that I have seen, not exactly in this one, is that we are going to get clutch. No matter what happens, we are going to go into that fourth map, onto the Blood Covenant.
Yeah.
So I think for the first time throughout this entire Quake World Championships, we are going to see clutch being played. And it is by the maestro himself, Raisy. But before we get to that point, we first have Deep Embrace, Raisy running the Doomslayer versus Galena by Vengeurr. So we've got Vengeurr running a champion that has that deployable totem. Great source of healing, right? You can use it mid-fight, you can get 3 of them going at the same time for that overstack, going up against that superior mobility with the double jump that you get from playing Doom. But then, as you've been saying for a while now, Doom has kind of been dropping off a bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, obviously you're picking him just for that mobility, just for the ability to control the mid ground. One of the reasons why he's dropping off, as I've mentioned before, is just a large part people know how to play around it, and people have more tricks of the trade and are more efficient just to manage the high ground without that double jump. Still obviously very useful. Raisy is one of the people who early pioneered and specialized in the Doom, mainly on the Awoken, but also on Deep as well. So it's still a very good pick, still causes chaos, but nowhere near as effective as we would have seen maybe this time last year. We've said it before, time again. Let's see how the rail performs, particularly on the side of Vengeurr. It's going to be a critical weapon. The LG's been fantastic, but the rail's going to be game-defining. And we saw a very slow game on the last one. Even on map 1, in fact, I do imagine this one's going to be faster-paced.
I think that it was a very deliberate route that Raisy just took to take down that totem. Probably knew exactly what Vengeurr would do with it if he spawned on that side of the map. Good string of LG damage as well. Lightning Gun still a weapon that Raisy lacks, whereas Vengeurr doesn't have rail or the rockets. That's exactly what he's trying to get a hold of now. Picks up the railgun, Raisy lands one, Vengeurr has to get out of there. 60 HP still railable. Secures 2 of those health bubbles down to 10 once again. Raisy landing all of the important shots right now.
Yes, indeed. Hit some huge shots so far. Vengeurr's even struggling to get a look in after the early damage of the lightning gun, and he gets tracked down. Easy as you like. Shot off the spawn as well. Second follow-up with the lightning gun, and Vengeurr will be going down 2-0. So already seeing as many frags as we saw in 10 minutes of the last game in this combat-heavy map. Vengeurr going in aggressively with that super shotgun. Only does 4 through the grate. And Raisy camps up top, nests up there with his hatchlings, and just waits for the heavy to spawn. Picks it up, goes on the rampage.
This is good for Raisy. His aim has been sublime so far. Mega up in 10 seconds. Both players kind of eyeing it, but I think Raisy wants more damage. He wants to maybe even walk away with a frag before falling back on the Mega.
Yeah, he wants to challenge just to push Vengeurr away from up top. He might even go up the jump pad just to show face and really bully his opponent, but instead just ekes around and even limits any sort of shots from Vengeurr's perspective. Going up aggressive, but just doesn't make it. Vengeurr gets a free pickup. A big lifeline for the Italian. But there you go. Raisy's rail has been defining at the moment. I don't even know if Vengeurr's shot a rail. He's been unable to. No, he hasn't. He shot 0 for 1 at the moment, so barely used the weapon, and that has to change in the next minute or two.
Also, shout out for Raisy, or shout out to Raisy for getting the Net Master medal right there. That means that you're getting 1,000 points of damage without dying, something you very rarely see at this level of competition.
Oh,
nice
lovely rail from
Oh.
Vengeurr. He makes it up, though, just makes it up, and Vengeurr hits a second. They're both very low. Raisy in an area with slightly more resources and a Mega to fall back on. So Vengeurr is on the ropes heavily at the moment, unable to pick up any sort of momentum. And he's also got no items to work with. Hasn't even got the lights up top.
I love that decision from Raisy rather to go for those double bubbles first, right? He could have just jumped straight onto the Mega, would have essentially amounted to nearly the same thing, but instead he walked back around, picked out those bubbles first, just to deny them from Vengeurr, knowing how weak his opponent is.
Absolutely. Crouching around, and for all the high praise of Raisy's play, which is rightly deserved, it's 3-0, which is not a big scoreline in any imagination on this particular map. Vengeurr has slowly worked his way into a position where he can at least do some damage over onto this Mega, but no, doesn't feel confident at all. The spam coming out from the side of Raisy is too much and too worrying for Vengeurr to poke his head over. He does have the high ground, though. That's the blessing in disguise, but as we know with the Doom in particular, it's easy to work around that. You can see Raisy takes the low ground, now goes aggressive. He's got all the pickup he needs, and he's got a frag. Slightly predictable positioning from Vengeurr, and he just couldn't cope with it. And the problem, once again, we're seeing is the lack of the rail from Vengeurr's perspective, as Raisy gets Daisy and gets a frag.
I saw a lot of rail
I
from
saw a lot of
Raisy's
rails
perspective right there. That was something juicy. Now Raisy, using that double jump to great effect to maneuver himself onto the heavy quickly. Doesn't want to pick it up just yet, though. Again, venturing out towards the middle of the map once more, just to deny that resource from his opponent. And now Vengeurr is weak. He's starving for any shreds of armor on the map. Raisy knows exactly where he is, drops down. This should be a very easy kill, and indeed it will be. Even snatches that second small armor as well.
Yeah, and this is the big, big problem. Raisy, as we talked about in the intro, is now converting pressure into control. Absolutely dominating and monopolizing all of the items. Vengeurr only having 3 major items to his name. Raisy also hitting a 70% rail. Vengeurr's just shot his 5th rail of the game to Raisy's 18. It's a big disparity. However, Vengeurr's finally got himself onto his 4th item as well, and he's in a good position to keep the pressure onto Raisy, as he's now connected with some distant damage. This is one of the reasons why Raisy's low. It should be a frag. First frag of the game for Vengeurr, nearly 5 minutes in. It's still only 6-1. There's been huge amounts of pressure, huge amounts of control, not a huge amount of frags.
5-minute warning.
Vengeurr catches Raisy. Has to keep his distance somewhat, though, because that's super shoddy. Can deal a lot of damage very quickly. I like what Vengeurr's doing right now. Baiting Raisy to make a play onto the LG. He knows that that's what his opponent is vying for right now, and so he just sticks around, tries to juke him out a bit, drops back down, returns through the teleporter. But ultimately is going to have to give up footing near the lightning gun and gives it up to his teammate.
Yeah, forfeits the Mega, as you say. He wants to burn some of his stacks so we can take away these lights.
Nice.
Huge rocket! Raisy not looking healthy, but he's in a position it's hard to push into, even with the stack advantage from Vengeurr. He also took a fair amount of damage, so he's a bit worrisome. Nice rail coming out as well, and Raisy, nothing he can do at this point except skirt around, trying to take any resources away before he dies, and there he does. He does a fair amount of damage, and so he will be able to take away the Mega pretty much for free. Oh, a big rail being missed by Vengeurr, but he's in position for this Mega and gets it. Now there's a split between the items fleet. Can Vengeurr continue to rotate as the pressure he is building stays there? The question is, the rail once again. Raisy's rail has been sublime. Now he has another one to his name. Can continue to put that pressure on.
Vengeurr's been hitting a lot of nice shots, though. Taking a look at the statistics, 46% rail. Raisy still outclassing him with 66. Whole lot of shots fired by the ladder, too. Oh! Wow! Homing rocket in the back. rail landing nearly simultaneously there. Vengeurr, he's closing in the gap.
That was an unusual frag. I saw the panic in the Doom's eyes as he realized he fudged up. But Vengeurr taking full advantage of the lack of awareness from his opponent. Although he's missed that rail, he's a little bit vulnerable here. Raisy pushing in instantly as that is missed. Lovely drop down rail from Vengeurr. He is beginning to connect with some of these now. And that's painful for Raisy and also indicative as to why he's got so much control. Big splits still maintain. Vengeurr just going to work it, control and isolate this area. Really bully his opponent away just by the presence he has and the stack advantage that he has as well. And this is one of the problems we saw from Raisy, is that now he's not putting enough pressure onto these items and Vengeurr is beginning to build momentum. At least when Vengeurr wasn't in control, he was making himself shown. He was trying to connect, but Raisy, without doing that, he's allowing a free map for Vengeurr. He's going in aggressively. He's not even. He does actually get it pick up.
What?
And somehow gets the frag.
Super shoddy into the Berserk, and then just left and right strafing at obscene speeds was enough to get the frag with the punch.
Not another huge rocket coming out. Oh, Vengeurr gets up top, gets healed, gets the armor, and gets away for now. The damage was done though, as Raisy put a stop to the rampage that Vengeurr was on, but Vengeurr has restored parity and control at the moment, is in position to also take away this Mega. And Raisy has to think, what do I do? There's nothing up for 10 seconds. I can't even get a light. He needs to hit this rail though, Flea.
Good. Good.
Knocked him down.
90 quick damage. Raisy still, oh, make it 100 more. But he has got to be so careful. Good use.
Yeah, but this is why you pick a Doom as well. You just can't enter from below. You get up onto the bird's nest super easy. He's going in aggressive with the lightning gun. He actually melts him.
Perhaps a little late using the Berserk right there. Raisy sticking around just a smidge too long before he finally decides to retreat. And now 2 frags in 1 minute. It's difficult, but it's possible. Oh, nice rocket.
Using the LG for the consistent damage. Oh, the rail comes out, but Vengeurr makes the wise choice to double back. Heavy machine gun is what he knows how low his opponent is, but he also knows his opponent can do damage, but it doesn't matter when you've got pinpoint precision through the murder hole. Ding, ding, ding.
Raisy kind of got himself stuck on that little ledge. He tried to walk off the bridge, but he kind of just clipped the outside of the wall. That kept him in place a little too long, and this one allowed Vengeurr to close the gap even more. No!
Oh, he's pushing.
Still in.
He's gone through the TP, he's gone through as well, but Raisy actually sticks around for the heavy with 20 seconds to go. Vengeurr has to make something happen. Raisy with the push of a lifetime to stay in this one. He's taken the item away. Has he got the weaponry to defend this? Vengeurr's jumping around, trying to get on top of this Doom. The rockets aren't connecting, but the rail does. Raisy's low, but the rockets are gone. Somehow he hits him!
All tied up. Overtime commences. Vengeurr, he is starting to believe. Then, as they said in the Matrix, he's finally regained that confidence in his own rail. And it is showing.
For now, the reverse clutch is real.
Another one! Make it rain, Vengeurr, make it rain!
He stayed in it for now. He's not in the right level, though. Raisy is beginning to stabilize. He's also on the side of the map where the next major item is spawning. I don't know if he has timing, but he's going to have sight of it very, very soon. Vengeurr is early for this. Is he too early? Is the Doom going to make a push? Vengeurr's defending the entrance and definitely not having eaten that rail. Get a moment to relax. As I say that, they do just trade rails. Vengeurr not connecting with his. And now I'm expecting a little bit more stability as we have approached sudden death. Lovely rail from Vengeurr. If he hits a second, he's definitely going to advance. But he doesn't, and now he's back on the low ground. A lovely rail there. The Doom jumping across. Is it a fake jump? Vengeurr's still there. He's also not entirely healthy himself. He wants this armor before he pushes, but in doing so, they are just trading items.
LG comes out, Raisy landing a good rail. It's gonna keep him in the game. Now the both major items are tied pretty much perfectly. 2 totems up as well. If Vengeurr can get 1 more totem going, Raisy is going to really have his back up against the wall.
He's got him trapped here. The lick of LG has pushed him, and he's actually a bit isolated. Vengeurr could play for the kill now, or he could play for both major items. What's it going to be? He takes one item. He might be looking to trace him down here. He's definitely going to now, having hit that rail and another, but he just took out the bubbles. He's stuck with no health. Vengeurr knows there's nothing for him to do. He's not going to go get the Mega, so Vengeurr goes on the offensive first.
Right
He's
choice.
going to try and get away, but he's bound in for the easiest frag he'll get all event, even if it was hardly worked. I don't know how they keep clutching it, Flea. How did Vengeurr stay in that one?
These absolutely are some of the best players in the entire world, and it shows the way that they can keep their composure, that they can maintain this incredibly high level of play, even against the worst of odds. Absolutely incredible.
I mean, we have been talking all day about how Vengeurr can't hit a rail to save his life. Well, he hit more than one to save his tournament life right there.
55%. Raisy hitting 60, but...
Exactly, and then when it came to it, it was the 2 or 3 clutches of rails in close range as well to make it even harder. That really pushed it to that sudden death, and in the end, the pressure mounted. I have to say, like, do you feel that Raisy gave too much respect to Vengeurr? Because for me, there were periods in that game where he just didn't show himself.
Yes.
And that just gave license and confidence for Vengeurr to continue pushing and continue the offensive. And we saw that Vengeurr was finding him, tracking him down, bullying him with the LG, and Raisy didn't have a response.
I mean, that was kind of our advice after the first map too, right? After Keep, what did we say to Raisy? You gotta show presence.
They don't listen to us, Flea.
Why doesn't he listen? He's right there behind us. But yeah, we were trying to tell Raisy to keep showing presence, to make a play, not necessarily try and take them away, no, but to be there, to land the rail, to stick around, get some LG on that bounce. But now, of course, that's so much easier said than done, Dan.
Yeah.
You know, as a former competitor yourself, but still, I agree that there were definitely stretches where Raisy, and he wasn't even in particularly bad shape, right? It wasn't as if he had 0 armor, as if he was near death. No, he absolutely could have shown himself on some of these items, but ultimately didn't. I think the main thing to take away from this one, though, is that Vengeurr is starting to regain that confidence in his railgun, right?
Absolutely.
Starting off the map still a little shaky, but then brought it back up to 55% rail. I think he hit around 5 or 6 impressive, so that means 2 railgun shots connecting in a row, and that's exactly what you want to be aiming for.
Absolutely, and yeah, his LG has been on form all event long. Obviously, statistically, 30% doesn't look like it, but when it mattered in the key occasions, it was absolutely spot on, and he was bullying Raisy with that weapon for large periods of the game. And in this time, Raisy pushed for the beginning of the game. It was very, very good, but it began to struggle as we went on. But I don't know, I think Raisy will be a little bit frustrated he didn't close that one out. Has such a good start to that game. However, as you pointed out at the start, we're moving on to a map there where we see a champion we have not seen yet. And I know you're excited. Raisy on the clutch.
I know that chat is going to be excited as well. Chat, here we go. The robot has come out to play. Raisy running clutch up against Vengeurr with the Death Knight. Now, Death Knight, really not a bad counter pick against clutch, because that Flame Strike, even when the shield is up, still has a good chance of doing AoE damage as well, right? If you aim it more towards his feet or you get it around him, clutch will still catch on fire, will still start bleeding, taking away health over time. So it's really not that bad of a counter if you have to pick someone at this stage of the match.
But I have to ask, DK on Blood Covenant.
Yes, that's of course the other aspect of this. Not ideal. Let's put it that way, right? Blood Covenant is a map that heavily favors the faster, the more mobile champions, right? We've also seen Galena be used well because there's a lot of places where you can put the totem. You've also seen Ison been played very well earlier. But yeah, Death Knight, he really relies on those close, tight quarters where he can make the most out of that Flame Strike. For example, on Insomnia, it's where he really shows, same on Corrupted Keep. But Blood Covenant has so many broad, open hallways, big rooms, that makes it very difficult to be effective with that ability.
Absolutely, and its ability you use relatively sparingly. It's obviously very situational, and we've seen in the past people just wanting to burn abilities. So Raisy doesn't take the shield, take all the vials. Listen, he comes flying in. Jeez, he's not messing around at the start of this particular map on Blood Covenant. But They do reset now, Raisy having got away, and obviously being the clutch, one of the key features we talk about on this map in particular is the control of the bridge area, control of the rail area, and Clutch offers him the utility to do that. Not on the Death Knight, as we just saw, having to rocket jump across. Now he finally picks up the Mega. I don't know how much that has distorted the timing or awareness of Raisy, as he's making his way over there now, which is just not going to be, but look at the speed of the Fridge, just working his way down the low ground, and this is where he wants to be, because if you get caught down in this area by the Fridge with his shield, it is painful, but look at that. This is partly why people find it so hard to pick this type of champion. It's almost impossible to miss.
That being said, 2 shields already been used in just a minute of game time. Raisy can keep that up. That's quite the pace to get that amount of damage reduction, and he has it up again. So far, that speed of the clutch has really enabled Raisy to gobble up pretty much all of the hourglasses, the vials around the map. Nice. Good rails though. Heavy will be taken by Raisy. Good, again, the pressure.
Right. I mean, the rails are there. Be surprised if they weren't.
Yes.
But they're there.
71% so far.
He had to pop the shield as well, and Vengeurr's heard the picking up of those time shards, but he's not able to close him down. And this is the big challenge with the Death Knight, is yes, you got the burst damage, particularly with the aim. Yes, you have the aim as well, but how on earth do you catch him? It's just frustrating.
It really is.
Charging across the map.
I mean, I think that right now Vengeurr just has to focus on the items, right? Yep. Get a good rotation of both of them going. We're only 2 minutes in. Game is perfectly tight. You will have your opportunity at some point, so just focus on the items for now. Keep landing those rails. There you go. And eventually, you will catch him out.
We see Vengeurr looking very confident striding across the map. There's nothing Raisy can do at the moment. He's playing absolute keep away. And a bit of Pac-Man. I mean, this is PvE. This is his daily quests. He's picking up all of the items around the map and returning them to Cinder.
This is just...
I mean, I don't know what I'm watching at the moment.
This is incredible to watch.
Oh. He's actually turned it around with the shield in the doorway, but there is also the flame strike into the conversion rail. And we've talked about rail a lot so far. 75% already from Vengeurr's perspective. Has connected with a lot. And you have to question, I mean, there's not much Raisy can do, because when Vengeurr's hitting that much, what can you do? The only thing you can do is hit back, but that's really, really difficult. And you don't even have a rail. There isn't much he can do right now except scuttle away, and 2 rails to even leave the room. Nearly a third. Pop the shield, I think I saw. Yeah, there's the shield, and it's gone, and there's his life as well.
Really good read by Vengeurr right now. Figured out exactly the route that Raisy was hoping to take in order to escape. Caught him clean in the middle of it. And he's already 2-0 up.
2-0. Raisy's stolen away the items, but if you rightly put, you know, Vengeurr's going blow for blow here, and that is critical because it just forces Raisy to be on that back foot. The problem comes...
Whoa. 15 seconds early.
I'm not gonna... Vengeurr, no. Yeah. This is a little bit mishap right there.
Yeah, good thing that Raisy wasn't around to punish that one, because that could have very easily taken all the wind out of his sails.
It is there now. Luckily, another flick rail from Vengeurr. These are the shots we didn't see earlier in the day. And yes, he's a big champion, but you still have to hit them. And that's exactly what Vengeurr is doing for now. We sit at 2-0, 4 minutes in. Vengeurr in total control of this map. I don't think we've seen Raisy really leave the lower levels of this map. And the reason why he's not leaving those lower levels is because he's afraid. He's afraid of the rail. And so he's trying to manufacture angles for himself to hit Raisy before he advances on. Obviously, if the opportunity is there, Flea, Clutch is one of the best at closing the gap and finishing the job. But he has to make that opportunity and secure it in the right way, because if he doesn't, he's very vulnerable. I mean, the flame strike.
Yeah, it has been used.
Disappeared into the night sky.
Like if Raisy had landed one good rocket, one solid rail right there, he would have dropped down with the shield, got himself the frag. Now Heavy will be spawning in a few seconds. This time around, I'm convinced that Vengeurr will have the exact timing.
Yeah, but the window of opportunity is too afraid to jump on down. He's trying to wait for Raisy. He goes at the last second. The shield comes out. He's going to go flying on in. Another rail, but it's not to be. That's what the shield is for. You're willing to take that damage to close the gap. Perfect play of clutch there. Now the challenge comes on, how do I restack? How do I get my shield back without taking subsequent damage? The most vulnerable time of a clutch's life. And if he could do it, this is where it becomes more of a rinse and repeat. But if Vengeurr, should I say, can keep on top of the stack as he has been doing, that's the challenge. Don't think Vengeurr has a rail, but it doesn't matter when the clutch is burning heavily with the lightning gun from atop. Shake of the head from Raisy. He was early for that.
2 seconds before the shield was up. Raisy has nothing really to defend himself with.
Oh!
The mining laser, the beam comes out, but Mega spawns at just the right time.
Shot!
Beautiful. Beautiful by Raisy.
Risky, but beautiful. He had to hit as much as he did. And there's another one. Vengeurr is on the ropes. Oh, it doesn't convert, but he hits so much damage. Oh, what a shot up the jump pad.
It is absolutely obscene. Then, looking at these statistics, Raisy is hitting just as much rail.
77% apiece in rail.
That is nuts. Now, of course, Vengeurr has shot quite a few more, but still, to be clutch against Death Knight, equaling, rivaling that railgun accuracy, that's insane.
This is when Raisy is scary. This is why he's scarier in the clutch, because he hits the rails. The clutch is big and tanky, and yes, you can abuse that, but the scary part is the way in which he manufactures the opportunity. He uses the rail to open the door, then charges in with a shield, and gets an easy frag. There was a lot of damage actually just coming out for that mining laser as well. And we're tied at 3-3, and the momentum from Vengeurr's corner has been lost. Desperately needs to get himself a rail, but he's going to just pepper away with his heavy machine gun. Obviously, he has to be wary of Raisy, but he's charging in. He knows he's got the Flame Strike. He's going to bounce him around. Flame Strike's not even used, in fact. And Raisy gets away and even gets the frag. And I felt that would have been the perfect opportunity just to blow the fridge open with the Flame Strike.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Vengeurr holds onto it.
When he bounced him up against the wall right there.
Look at the mining laser, how much damage from afar. Nearly gets the frag. What an innovative use of that ability.
I mean, as far as I'm aware, there's essentially no range limit on that laser, so that works from the other side of the map just as well. Raisy now running for his life. Vengeurr, can he clean it up? No.
No, but he does have the Mega to fall back on. Raisy's still extremely weak, trying to recoup this lost health and armor. Vengeurr once again, rinse and repeat of the first few minutes, running around the map, trying to track down his opponent. This time he doesn't have a rail. He's gone flying on in, the shield comes out. The nail gun is strong. That is almost desperation, I have to say, chasing down your opponent without a rail flea. Not necessary. I hear a come on from behind me, but oh boy, don't run into a choke point against the nail gun.
Nail on land, Sadasex. It is a different beast altogether. So much more reliable than it is in an online setting.
We're still not over, Flynn.
No, it is not.
And you can see even Raisy just standing on this rail. He's like, boy, you ain't touching this. I know you can hurt me with this weapon. I'm going to nest on it. That's exactly what he's doing. He's shut his doors on the rail for now, because if Vengeurr doesn't have that, there's not much Vengeurr can do. That's why he's going straight for it. Raisy in the vicinity, though, needs to try and stop his opponent, or at least damage him for doing it, but he does scutter away. The Mega's up as well. He's working his way over to that side of the map. Doesn't think he knows he's gone the wrong way. Think he sees it now. Is it going to be too late? No, Vengeurr actually gets shut down. He's learnt his lesson from 2 times today on this map, getting blown up in a choke point.
Just look at how lopsided the stack is right now. Raisy. An absolute tank, not just in class, but in actual stature as well.
He's forfeit the item. He could have gone in, he could have tried to finish it, but he realizes he can play keep away for a minute. And I think that's the game plan now. He's got a good enough stack to feel confident to close out this map. And he's quite happy to do so. Vengeurr's going to go through. I think he knows there's something dodgy going on, and he does. Raisy scuttles away once again, and the chase is on. Lovely rail from down below. Pops another rail, but it does hit the shield, so only does lesser of effectiveness. Another big rail coming out. Huge damage from Vengeurr, but the retaliation from the fridge is also strong. Picking up those shards, he's waiting around, and the Mega is up, the heavy is up. That definitely benefits Raisy. He's got the high ground. You can even hear the mechanics going.
10 seconds without the shield. That's all he's left.
Huge rail he's missed. Fake rocket jump, double back, but Raisy does fall for it. He catches him, but no, he falls off. He can't rocket jump up. He hasn't got the stack, and Raisy is just going to wave at him as this clock ticks out. He knows where he is. There's 3 seconds to go. He's dancing around. He's fat, but he's not that fat. Shields up, and the rocket is there to finish off Vengeurr. I don't know how he clawed that back after that stop, but somehow the clutch specialist stays in it. And there was obviously a big turning point there where Vengeurr got greedy and Vengeurr tried to chase him down, but you have to respect how Raisy stayed in that. 75% rail for Vengeurr, 70% for Raisy. He did the hard yards down below until he had the stack and he had the advantage to push that button and go live.
I'm surprised that Vengeurr just committed to that push that you're talking about, right? I like the idea. Horizontal rocket jump through the teleporter, get a lot of speed, but then once you get to the rocket, you see that the shield is popped, nail gun come out. Why not drop down? You know that you burned away the shield, right? Wait, 3 seconds, it's gone. Try to take the fight again down towards the heavy.
Yeah, even before that, if you don't have the rail, he's faster than you. It's so risky. Up until then, for the vast majority of the game, absolutely loved what Vengeurr was doing. He had the game plan. He knew what he had to do. Death Knight was hard. We saw it for the first 3 minutes. Just chasing him around the map. There's nothing you can do. But when he got that rail, he got the lead. Raisy was on the ropes for large periods of the game. You have to respect absolutely everything what Vengeurr was doing. This also shows why Clutch, even in this environment, is so scary. Because Vengeurr was forced to hit 75% rail to even stay in the game. Fortunately for himself, he did. But as soon as he didn't, as soon as he started missing even the odd shot, the clutch was there, the clutch was closing the door, and he had a shield to boot.
Now the next map, Dan, this is going to be a doozy. We're on Awoken. Scale versus Sorlag.
Have we even seen a Sorlag this game? I mean, this event?
I know that Rafa had picked her, but I don't think he got around to play her, but I'm not entirely sure. At least I have not casted a game with Sorlag in it. But this is so curious, right? I think that the only time we've ever seen Scale versus Sorlag might have been on Veil, right? Online on Veil. That is a map, an arena in which I could see this matchup work. But on Awoken, this is unique.
I have an inkling that, you know, I'm presuming that Vengeurr had last pick, but I have an inkling he wanted to end the event before we got to this point. That's why he made that rocket jump. He's like, oh god, Scale, I can't play Scale. I have to go for it because it's not a pick. He's not a pick he likes. I mean, I know he doesn't really enjoy playing the Scale Bearer that much. There's been a lot of moaning about how easy it is to hit the Scale in this environment. And as you know, we haven't seen a Sorlag played at this event, but Raisy, back in the day, was a Sorlag specialist. He would pick it time and time again when he could. He knows how to play that champion to the limits, and that's what's really important. So Vengeurr has a hard task here. I don't even know if I've seen a Scale Bearer, even in normal online conditions, on Awoken.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of as well. This is an uphill battle for the Italian. Scale clearly out of his comfort zone, going up against Sorlag, right? I mean, we've seen Anarchy been picked on Awoken, right? Quite often.
That's decent.
Yeah, and Sorlag, you know, has the same air control, right? Bit easier to hit, bit more stack, has got that toxic spit instead of the injection, but basic movement is the same. But then Scale is just the odd one out here.
This is not that creature's natural habitat.
No.
And so there needs to be a little bit of evolution involved here to be able to cope with the conditions going to be thrown at him. Let's see what he's got up his sleeve. Big LG coming up. It doesn't matter when you've lost both major items, so he has to make do with just having his starting stack. Doesn't actually work his way over to the railers. That's where the Sorlag's going to be positioned right now. So a little bit of trouble for Vengeurr here. Is Raisy going to be in the area? No. Lets that one go. But we already have a split between the major items, and we know what a heavy and heavy confrontation looks like.
We do.
It's very back and forward.
Now Heavy is up. Vengeurr with Scale setting up on top.
Yeah, he's just trying to delay the pickup, wait for him to be there, try and do some exit damage. Not going to happen. Gets his own item. So really well played by Vengeurr to get back into this in terms of just purely item control. Oh, crush him. That's not the play either, as he just has a bit of a drive-by to say, hey, I'm here, but now you're in a position where you just have to fight. There's no escape. And fight he does. Huge damage from Vengeurr.
I don't know what exactly happened there, but there was just half a second where Raisy hit nothing. His LG just kind of completely failed him, and he just didn't hit a single point of damage, and then Vengeurr turned it back around.
Vengeurr hit 60%, Raisy hit 40%. I don't know how that's possible.
No idea.
But you're absolutely right. What should have been an easy frag for Raisy's turned into a 2-0 lead for Vengeurr on the Scale Bearer. Unexpected phrase I just said.
Now Mega up in 15 seconds. Heavy up at around the exact same time. Now Vengeurr does have a bit of an advantage with the Bull Rush when it comes to that, right? Going from Mega to Heavy, that's pretty easy, that's fast.
I mean, I'm sensing it. The Scale Bearer meta is going to happen from this map alone. And he can bust it out. Is he going to crush him? No, it's already gone. He sees it go, though.
Too little time between the two. He figured that Raisy would have already been set up for it. Like, maybe if there's 5 seconds or so between the both of them, I can see that happening, but just not at the stage yet. Here we go. Exact same thing!
Oh my god, I've seen this story before. This time it doesn't work out for Vengeurr as he gets himself away.
Deja vu.
Yeah, I think he needs to unbind that ability.
I mean, he just needs to stop using the ability
on
the stairs when you've got that momentum. It carries you forward even in the air. So Raisy just has to stick close to the stairs, and you're always going to fly clean over his head. So,
oh, we got rail through the TP, so a bit of a boost up there. Both major items taken once again. Actually, Vengeurr on the ropes, definitely on the ropes now. Raisy knows he's got his opponent low. The question is, will he catch him? Actually misses the rail on the drop down. Don't know if he's going to chase through here, but Raisy still realizes how low Vengeurr is, just trying to deal any damage as he can. And there he comes flying on through. Ooh, that was a better use of the Bull Rush, but
sure was.
With both major items up, there will just be a trade here as Vengeurr spawns over by the rail and by that heavy armor. Doesn't pick it up yet. What's he waiting for? He's just hanging around.
Oh, he can get it. Oh, 20-something damage on that last one. Few more pellets.
I'm guessing that was the game plan. Bait Raisy in, use your stack, restack, finish him off. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Oh, Raisy's coming around.
Oh,
he just
roadkill.
Runs through him.
That was good, though. He figured that Raisy had almost nowhere to run to, was stuck in that T, that center area of the map, and absolutely had him like a deer. The lights of a car. Oh, there we go. Solid rocket to open it up. Raisy in a bad spot, but Vengeurr unable to land any of the rails.
Okay, Raisy goes aggressive, realizes the rail was missed, had a window of opportunity. I do like that. Didn't work out for now, but no foul, no harm. He's also got control over by the mega area up on that T-junction. Pinned his opponent here. So much damage coming out the air. The mouse control goes mad, trying to dodge that LG. So frustrating not to be either. And Raisy gets away with the mega, and now the heavy. Now we're starting to see a bit of a split, a bit of a differential between the items. And just look at the stack as well as Raisy has taken away the lights up top. Vengeurr has nothing to work with except the Bull Rush, and we know what can happen with that.
He is just, again, trying to bait Raisy up here.
Yeah.
Rocket to the face, followed by a Bull Rush, maybe even switching to the shotgun. That can turn any stack into nothing.
That is the FFA recipe for success right there.
Now Heavy's about to spawn. Both players acutely aware of the other's position.
Yep, Scale Bearer pretty tall. Gets clipped on with the head by the LG. Forced away. He's had no items, but he's also not taking any damage. This is absolutely fine for Vengeurr. He's chipping away at Raisy, actually doing more damage. Oh no, the Scale Bearer goes charging in. Raisy just plus backs. He's got huge damage, and they do in fact trade. A messy frag, but a frag nonetheless. He goes in with the gauntlet. Oh no, they got similar spawns, and once again, Raisy fires over the top with the LG and ties this game up. 3 seconds to go. The Scale Bearer goes charging in. Raisy's above. Lovely flick rail. He's got the stack to challenge. He's got the weaponry, but he also doesn't want to take too much damage. Eventually, Vengeurr gets away, but also gets fragged. An awkward exchange, but Vengeurr did an awful lot of damage as well. So you bet your bottom dollar he's going to plus forward back into Raisy. Here he comes. Huge damage from Raisy though, but the Scale Bearer gets away for now.
That big starting stack then. Yeah. The amount of armor that those heavy spawn with. Nothing to dot.
What?
Okay, that was an interesting one. Rockets are typically quite difficult to land down below on this map because it's the actual floor of the map is a little below that layer of water, so it can be tricky to estimate exactly where your rockets are going to land. But Raisy apparently has figured it out perfectly.
If you just fire them straight into the forehead of your opponent,
that works.
That also helps. We have got now a bit of stabilization as Raisy decides he's had enough of these shenanigans. Backs on off. Vengeurr actually tries to track him down, but decides to double back and just play a more sensible ABC game and keep control of the major items. He knows his opponent doesn't have a huge stack as well, so if he does find him, he can create that chaos as we've seen already, and there he goes. He tries to rocket jump up, wants to keep his opponent guessing, keep his opponent on the low ground. And Raisy does not want to stick around to fight.
Mega has been taken by Vengeurr. Now set up to continue this stretch of full control he has over the items. And there's still a whole lot of time left then. 3 minutes. This is not looking too bad for Vengeurr. He's gonna take the heavy as well. Raisy, only 50 points of armor to his name.
Oh,
there he
he
goes.
Comes again. He actually drops just in time, gets his way through the TP. But what I will say, Flea, is this is a story we might have seen before. Raisy forfeiting map, forfeiting control. The opponent in Vengeurr getting extremely healthy. Obviously, it doesn't matter too much if you do begin to connect with your shots, as he is doing now. But if you don't, we've seen it before. This is where the challenge comes. Vengeurr will just run at you. And now he has a big, chunky boy to reinforce him and support him. Raisy just playing the plus black once again, trying to play around the rail. And Vengeurr's not having any of it as well. He wants to close the gap. He wants an LG fight. Raisy definitely doesn't. He's gotten away for now by the skin of his teeth, but there is going to be a situation where Vengeurr can come out and force a fight.
Raisy scrounging the outskirts of the map, looking for those armor resources. He knows that Mega will be going towards his opponent. Heavy normally as well.
Nice.
There we go, that's good. Nice little rail. He might even try to make an appearance near the heavy, or at least go for a rail through the teleporter. Yeah.
He needs items though, Flea.
He
He's
does.
weak. Yes, he's doing the damage and getting away, but if he gets caught by a lone rail, he's in so much trouble. And he just can't touch an item.
He absolutely can't. Oh, but Vengeurr not entirely aware of Raisy's position on the map right there. But these are good plays for Vengeurr, right? Yes, they trade, but ultimately... Oh, no
way!
Oh, the little ledge! It stops him dead in his tracks.
I mean, this guy's a warlord, a destroyer of the universe, and he gets stopped by a ledge?
And now, the spit.
Oh, no.
I was thinking, are those bubbles still up? I figured, no, they are not.
That is the saddest death I've seen in the QPL this season, and it comes 1 minute before Vengeurr might be knocked out of this tournament. He nearly gets knocked out of the map as Raisy finds him from below. Raisy's looking happy now. The Mega is up, and Vengeurr is desperate to find anything, any momentum, but he's lost it. There's no items up. He's looking for anything he can. Boy, what an unfortunate state of events that was, as Raisy is strafing his way to victory here.
It honestly was a good fight for him to take as well.
It was, that
Raisy
was the
on
shame.
the ropes. If he had been able to connect with that bull rush, we would be looking at a very different scoreline right now. Here we go, bull rush comes out. Okay, okay, 1 frag, half a minute. Can he find that opening rail? Doesn't even look for it. Prioritizes Mega, and is that no dodge is going to push in.
He's seen Raisy, he's going to chase him down. Raisy's going to have to rocket jump away as he does. Actually, Vengeurr doubles back. Raisy's going to hold up top because he didn't hear his opponent coming. You can hear those hooves, you can hear the thunder. He's waiting, he's trying to guess, he's trying to get up. You're going to have to go, you're going to go now. Raisy's going to run. Raisy's faster. 3, 2, 1, and Vengeurr is out. What a series we just witnessed. That's how I feel, DJ Wheat.
You know what? I tried to get up to the stage faster, but there's a step over there, and I just like stopped in my tracks.
I caught that out of the corner of my eye. Wheat was just running in place, trying to get up on the step. Couldn't quite figure it out until production helped him up. But yeah,
I can't believe.
Tragic.
I cannot believe Vengeurr's life in this tournament was literally tripped up by the step. It was.
I mean, you know, there's another alternate universe where Vengeurr wins that one and completely destroys the online meta of this, where everyone starts picking scale on Awoken. You know, that's rough. Any way you do it, like, right? You're up against a teammate. One of you moves on, one of you doesn't. I go back to the Blood Covenant game too. I thought that Vengeurr handled that so well at the beginning, but again, you can't count Raisy out. He's got a game plan. Typically, he's stuck to that. It really worked out for him. Landed some real nice shots as well.
I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to go back to Ruins, where
Are you going to go up and grab him?
I'm gonna in a minute when he's feeling better.
Yeah.
Where he just doesn't
Yeah,
ghost
the ghost
walk.
walk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I haven't like different ball game if that's the case. And you know, all things considered, he's had a great event. Today was rough, but this is what the real Vengeurr's all about. And in my opinion, he played a better set. He had Raisy on the ropes for the vast majority of every single map. But when it came down to it, the clutch moments.
I mean, there's no doubt about it that like the version of Vengeurr that we saw in this matchup is probably the version he was hoping was showing up to every single matchup.
Yeah,
So
right.
it's definitely a redemption arc overall, just in the Season 3 of the Quake World Championship. But yeah, that was.
I think we've
I mean,
also
look at the just.
Yeah,
I
one
mean,
frag.
outside of Corrupted Keep, just that is.
I think we've also just seen a tremendous amount of mental resilience from Vengeurr in that series, right? Just the comeback. We've seen it happen before, where if he suffers one bad loss, like he did earlier today against Maxter, he kind of collapses. But no, he absolutely regained his composure in that matchup against Chain, and now really pushed it to the limit when going up against Raisy. So I think that just speaks to him, right, for his growth as a player, and I'm just happy to see how well he's performed up until this moment.
Well, let's bring Raisy up for a quick interview, and it'll be quick because, of course, he's got another. You know, this is where the true endurance begins. Raisy, congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, it can never be. I'm sure it's bittersweet. You're happy that there's a victory, not so happy that you had to defeat a teammate in order to do it. It went all 5 games. For you, talk to us a little bit about, right, each game was so close. There were definitely some maps that I think we even said heavily favored you. Where do you think was like the biggest turning point of this entire series for you?
I guess just the fact that I didn't give up after like failing a map, for example, Deep Embrace was really difficult to get myself up from the floor after losing with such a lead.
Right.
Made a few mistakes, and Vengeurr was just taking opportunities. I'm very lucky with the Visornix situation. I'm not actually sure if he had the invis and wanted to save it up for later or not.
He had it,
But yeah, I figured. But I didn't really expect myself to hit those 2 back-to-back rails and clutch it, because I usually like get nervous and I just miss those shots. But it happened in my favor this time. I'm very happy about it. And then yeah, I messed up Deep Embrace. On the first map, on Corrupted, I didn't feel like I had any control at all. And whenever I tried to go for a major item, it didn't really feel like I had any stack to work with afterwards, because he was just there, constantly putting pressure on me. And then clutch worked.
yeah.
Badly though. I didn't have the railgun for a while in the beginning, and he didn't really want to let me get it for free. It was really tough to even get the weapon and then make a few frags happen. But somehow it did. And then last map, playing against the Scale Bearer, against Vengeurr's Scale Bearer. Even though I'm a sword leg and I like being a sword leg, just playing against his scale is just a nightmare. You know, is the way he's been using it, and the bull rushes and the faking me out with his constant going forward and then turning back around, and which way is he gonna come from. Last situation as well, when he was like in the water at Nailgun.
Yeah.
And I was up at the rail. And he was trying to see which way I'm gonna try to escape towards, and he went back and forth, back and forth. I expected him to rocket jump up from one of the sides, but I needed to make sure that it's not gonna be the side I'm gonna try to escape towards. So it was not really a gamble, because I tried to stay patient and listen out for his sound cues, but it was tough. And luckily for me, I made the right decision, and I just had to escape and be alive for a few more seconds, and then it was GG's. But overall, I'm just very exhausted already.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's just tough playing against these players. They are just insanely good, and I'm trying my hardest, and I just barely get away.
Yeah, well, congratulations, Raisy. I don't know how you keep calm. I'm not calm on the desk, so I can't even imagine what it's like in your shoes. I guess I want to ask the obvious question, which is about Clutch. Sorry if you're going to ask it, but I mean, what led you to pick Clutch? I know Vengeurr was surprised you picked it. Everyone in this event has been saying heavy champions are not the one, and you've come out early with the hardest of them to play. So not only why did you pick it, but just how in those situations do you remain calm when Vengeurr's hitting 80% rail? You can't even get a rail. You literally just have to play PvE for 3 minutes before you can even start playing Quake. What does go through your mind in this situation? How do you then work through that to get back into the map?
The reason I picked Clutch was because Clutch used to be actually very good on Covenant a while ago, and I figured it still can work if I just play him right. Obviously, don't be out in the open, don't give him rail angles too many times, try to hit your shots because he's gonna hit his. But overall, just playing Clutch is really difficult, but I figured it might work. And I gave it a try, and luckily it did work. But him denying the rail in the beginning was just something I had to somehow just be patient about. I must not rush the railgun no matter how much I want it and I need it in order to stay alive and maybe even get frags. Just the fact that he was on high ground for so long and I just had to like peekaboo from below, see if it's safe to go this way. Oh, it's not, he's there. Okay, let's try the other way. Oh shit, he's already here again. What am I gonna do? I don't know. It's tough. But eventually I found an opening, I went for the railgun, and I think from there on I had opportunities to turn the game back around in my favor, and that's what I tried to do.
Awesome.
Raisy, congratulations. Since ZSX did so rudely steal my question, I'm going to ask you about that third map, Deep Embrace, how you were playing Doom versus the Galena. You mentioned yourself you had a pretty sizable lead, but then there were some mistakes that led to you ultimately still losing the map. So can you elaborate on that? Like, what went wrong?
I don't exactly remember. I just remember I had a big lead, and there were still quite a lot of time left, I think, at least a couple of minutes, so it was doable for him if he was in control, which he, I think, was. And he was hitting hard, especially towards the end, holding down all kinds of rail angles whenever I tried to go for small armors, for example. And so after each rail he hit, I just tried to stay alive. I realized that there's no other way for me to win the map. I tried to be on the run and stack up on small armors and health bubbles, but every time he just negated all the stack I gathered up throughout the few seconds I was still alive during those lives. And then eventually he had to push me, and I realized that it's gonna be a final fight, like a deciding fight, down at the railgun ammo. But I didn't really have anywhere to go, and he hit, I think, a rail on me as he was falling down, or maybe before, or something like that. And then after that, I was very low on health, and the best bet for me was to hit a few decent rockets. The first one was really good, and I didn't get a chance for a second one because he killed me before. But I believe he was very low on health. And then, you know, after that, I don't actually know if it was overtime or I think it was overtime. Yeah, because of that frag, he was able to stay alive. I'm not sure if it was like stacking up on bubbles if he was, and then heavy or maybe something like that. But I had to like respawn, get the weapons, look around, see what's up, and if I can get something like a small armor or whatever. But by the time I try to decide on what to do, he was already in control again, and then I just couldn't stay alive anymore. He was just rushing me down, and there was no way out for me.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Raisy, congratulations. We know you've got to gear up for another match here. So again, well done. You're playing Maxter next. We're going to take a break. When we return, the lower bracket finals. 2 more matches to go before we crown a champion here. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back after this break.